Good morning or good afternoon, whatever time you guys are listening to this. Welcome back to another edition of the Layman's AI podcast. I am Adam,
And my name is Brian.
and we want to welcome you guys back to what is now episode, I think it's what are we on now? 48? Is it 48 episodes?
47 or no,
For
48. Never
I
mind.
think we're 48 actually. Yeah.
Yeah, you had to copy paste with the issue with the document.
I
So,
sure did. I sure did. Yes, for those of you who do not know, like most podcasters, we have show notes that we have for us today that we use. And I had the wrong number on there. So we're two away from 50. We're coming up on the 1 year anniversary. A lot has happened this year. And Brian and I are pretty excited about tonight because this has been an episode in the works for, what would you say now, Brian? 3 weeks?
yeah, something like that. Ever since we discovered this lovely tool that we are very high on
Yeah.
right now.
We are, yeah, and a lovely tool. And for those of you who do not know, we want to be full transparency with everybody. We wanted to do this episode 3 weeks ago,
Hmm.
but the tool in hand had some server issues,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
we didn't think it was fair to show you guys it when it wasn't working right. And you know what? For the last week or so, it's been working just fine.
Yep.
So hopefully that was a one-time thing and it's not going to happen much moving forward. But Brian, what is this tool? I feel like we may have people listening right now. They want to know
Hmm.
what is this tool that we're about to talk about that we've kind of already talked about. So lay it on us. What are we doing tonight?
It is called Flompt.
Flompt.
And you may not have heard of it, but we are really high on the potential of this type of
Yes, we are.
whatchamacallit, this type of technology right here. You've all heard of prompting. We all do the prompting when you put it into your LLM, get your results and everything like
Hmm.
that. But this is a new free and open source service right now called Flompt. Basically, what it does is it actually helps you build proper prompts for your LLMs. And you may be asking yourself, well, it's a proper prompt. I ask it a question, it gives me an answer, et cetera, et cetera. But what you need to understand right now, you're still talking to a machine, and machines can translate your language, but they can also speak a different language as well. And this is basically what Flompt helps you just talk to the machines a lot better for you.
It certainly does. The way I would explain this to everybody is flompting is a term that we are hoping to coin
Hmm.
instead of prompting, call it flompting. But a flompt itself, it's basically having a prompt engineer with you as you are building your prompts for your LLMs, your Claudes, your
Hmm.
ChatGPTs, Groks, Gemini, whichever tool you use. This is going to take your prompt and work it as if a prompt engineer has worked it over and put it into the language that the LLM can understand better. And we're excited because it works. It
Yeah, definitely.
it works
And
very well. Yeah.
yeah, I've been very happy that it started to work again. It is free and open source. You can use it however you want and anything. I would like to have the engineer that made this on the podcast sometime. So, but anyway, it's a really good tool and everything because it breaks it down to a machine language and what have you. And when you're talking to a machine, what exactly does that mean? What exactly am I trying to tell you? Machines have to translate English. They have to take what you say to it and put it into something that they can understand. And I'm going to tell you right now, computing, machines, it's all ones and zeros. It's all broken down into ones and zeros, binary codes. I'm sure if you've ever seen code, somebody write code, it looks like gibberish. But the
Hmm.
computer
Yeah.
reads that code very well. And there's a shortcut you can hit on your keyboard. I can't tell you off the top of my head what it is, but there's a shortcut you can just kind of punch into your keyboard, and it can bring up the JavaScript of your website, essentially, of whatever website you're on. And it's going to look like gibberish unless you know how to speak JavaScript too. And this is like basically what this does is this helps you translate so you can talk to the LLM better.
Yeah.
And there's all kinds of like different characters. A space doesn't mean the same thing as a space writing on paper. A lot of coding languages don't like spaces in a lot of the file names and everything. I can attest to that. Working in the automation industry, I've troubleshot a lot of issues where you found out they put a space in the name of everything and everything goes haywire. And that's where underscores come in.
I was
And
going to say,
basically,
I learned in college you should name your files with an underscore if you want a space in it, and it's a habit I picked
yes.
up, so I guess I've been doing the right thing all these years.
Yeah, so basically, I mean, that's just one example. There are so many more examples of what goes on and
Yeah.
everything. So that's like this is basically what that tool does essentially.
Okay, so adding to a little more specific, some of the things that we noticed that it did, if you do put a little bit of a couple sentences together for your prompt and you throw it in there, it breaks it down into these blocks, which is
Hmm.
really a neat thing. And we are going to show you guys how it does this or what it does. Is to save time, we already did this before recording the episode. So when you see it, it'll be after we did it. We're going to show you exactly as it came out and walk you through it. But what's really cool about these blocks is it doesn't always use all the blocks available because it assigns whatever you put in there into a specific block. So the block could be the role or what is the AI? What should it be? Back in the day, we would type in act as a travel agent and book me a trip to this place for X amount of dollars. Well, the role would be the travel agent in that case. It
Hmm.
assigns a role. It assigns an objective. Any constraints that you put in, the example I was using, about X amount of dollars at this budget, that would be a constraint.
Hmm.
And then it has this output formula that it does after you go through the blocks. And what's great about it is if you see something wrong in those blocks, or if you want to add more information in those blocks, you can do that. You can
Hmm.
edit the blocks before you compile the prompt that the adjusted prompt that Flompt makes for you. You can do that.
Hmm.
It's an excellent, excellent tool, especially for layman's, especially if you're working on your prompt engineering game, which I think all layman's are right now. And it makes you, when you actually realize the layout of this, it makes you realize how complex these LLMs are and how much getting the wording so you can explain it to them being the LLMs, goes a long way in terms of making sure you get what you want on the back end.
Yeah, definitely. And all these like kind of highlights that we went through, it really goes through like what you're trying to do and everything. You have an idea inside your head, okay, this is what I want this LLM to do, and you could sort of try to make it sound like what you want to do or what have you. Um, but what it does after you do your raw prompt, you'll put your raw prompt up there. We're going to show you in a little example later on. For those listening, you might want to check out the YouTube channel to get a full visual
Yeah,
on this.
this is a
Um,
YouTube one.
yeah, definitely going to throw it in there. But either way, what you have is like it breaks down the prompt into different blocks, like you said, and it really kind of makes you think about, okay, what is my objective? What am I putting in? What am I expecting to get out? And it has a lot of different categories and everything, and it really helps you think, okay, this is what I want it to do, and you can kind of reword a few things, add a few things, and it does like a really nice job. And it breaks it
Yes.
down into like many different categories. And when the machine goes to read it, like I said, it reads it in its own language, which is really, really nice. And the end result, what comes out here, and I'm looking into it, it's a XML file. Um, which if you don't know like any kind of coding, it is a basically kind of a structured code file,
Okay.
essentially. You'll see the layout in the whatchamacallit, the demo later. But it basically like I've worked with XML files myself, and I've had people I've worked with say, "Hey, let's open the XML file and figure what's going on." And my first reaction is like, "Do we really want to do that? Because we're going to spend forever here." And it's a skill that you have to learn on like how to read an XML file and everything. And Flompt has that skill because it's a machine, and machines read XML files better than text files, essentially. And you can also do markdown files. A lot of times when I'm working with projects, especially with Claude, I try to use a markdown file for a lot of my documents
Hmm.
because the LLM can read it a lot better. So that's kind of something to keep in mind. Like anything you can break it down to a machine structure is always the best.
So I'm going to pivot a little bit or just talk a little bit more about Flompt, what you can expect
Hmm.
from it if you're using it. We are not going to get into this tonight, but who knows? Maybe this is a part two episode.
Maybe.
But there are some additional tools that Flompt has that we are not using right now. But I want to go over these tools because if you're using them as a layman, it's an impressive feat. It does have an audit tool that scans for gaps if it's missing a role or if it wants an example. You could fix it with one click when you use the audit tool. The other thing that's really neat is the prompt score. So it rates the output between a 0 and a 100 with specific tips. No more guessing if your prompt is good or not. You can actually see when it hits, if you have a prompt score of like 44, that's not where you want it. You want it to be higher than that. So that is a score
Hmm.
that is possible. So the other thing is a version history. You can save, label, restore, compare prompts side by side, and not lose your work. It's actually really cool. It's almost like a Claude Projects, but for prompts or
Hmm.
what you're doing. So it's a very neat feature. And the context memory is another thing that's really good. It can store persistent facts, the tone, the industry, the rules that you're using in your prompts that load into every prompt automatically. And I didn't even touch this one yet, Brian, because I didn't even see it till about 2 hours ago.
Hmm.
It does have 100 templates, 100 plus templates ready to go, pre-built starting points across writing, marketing, education, sales, and more. So you don't just start with a blank page when you actually look at these templates. So this is so much more than just something that takes your words and turns it into. This could actually be a tool that turns you into a better prompt engineer as you engage with it and use it more.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, this is just the tip of the iceberg right here.
Mhm.
Like we may revisit a lot of these advanced features because this is one of those things we really started to like. As you know, we're if you listen to our previous episodes, we fanboy Claude a lot. We're gonna start I feel we're gonna start fanboying Flomp a little bit,
I
and
I think you're right.
like some more of these demos going forward, we're gonna start integrating Flompt into
Yeah.
our kind of like a lot of times we'll do some example projects for you and everything. If you want to go back, we did a really good Thanksgiving episode where we used Claude projects, and we like to do a lot of prompting ahead of time and work on like little projects and everything. But I do feel like this is going to start to get integrated into our workflow a lot more. So yeah, lot more tools. We can't like really get into a lot of them, but it is going to be um a very big tool going forward, in my opinion. Which, begs the question, how do you actually use it?
So the first thing I got to tell everybody is you got to go to the website,
Hmm.
flompt.dev.
Hmm.
Okay, so it's FLOMPT.dev. It's free. You don't even need to sign. It doesn't even take your email. Think about
Hmm.
that for a minute. It doesn't even take your email.
That's
At this
beautiful.
time, there's no tab that says pricing at the top either.
Beautiful.
So you have two entry points. You could use a blank canvas or you can use the template library. They do recommend the template library for beginners. You can do a
Hmm.
walkthrough, a relatable example, such as building a LinkedIn post prompt using a template.
Hmm.
You can also, I believe there's a browser feature to use this as well with bit capabilities of Chrome and Firefox. You
Mm.
can add a button inside of ChatGPT, Claude, and Gemini. There's a builder feature that opens directly into a new chat window as well, and it injects the finished prompt back into the chat with just one click. You don't even need to copy and paste it at that point. I have not used any of those features yet, but in terms of how to use it, that's the simplest way I could say. I would just recommend going to the website and start playing around.
Yeah,
I
basically.
wouldn't embed anything into your Chrome or your Firefox or anything like that at this time. If you end up using this thing a lot, I think that's probably a way you want to go. But for right now,
Hmm.
just play around with it. Just play around with it. Like
Uh,
any other AI device we tell you, you know.
yeah, that's basically the best way to learn is just to try to do something with it.
Yeah,
And
we learn by doing.
if you need an idea for a project, ask AI. It will it will give you a good idea for a project, give you something to start and everything. And this is kind of the beauty of AI. You want to use this new AI tool, ask AI how to use AI. Kind of sounds like a snake eating its own tail a little bit, but that's a whole nother episode that is going
Yeah.
to be a very interesting one in the future. So
Well,
probably a whole episode series to be honest with you,
it
but
very well could be. Very well could
yeah.
be. And this could have been part of a series too. We could have done part one on prompting. But with that being said, who's this really for? Obviously, it's for the layman's. This is
Hmm.
clearly for people like you and I, and most likely our listeners who are devoted every week that come to and listen to us. We really appreciate you guys. This is a good one for everybody because if you're a small business owner writing your own marketing plan, you're going to see that's the example we use. We're going to show you how it
Hmm.
did it for us pretty simply.
Yeah.
If you're a teacher designing AI assisted lesson plans, this is probably a good idea because you're going to write all these things that you would put. I'm a teacher. I need to write about AI literacy. I need to teach seventh graders this. What are some engaging activities I can do? Don't put that into ChatGPT. Take that, put that into Flompt first. Let it
Hmm.
break it out for you. Review the boxes, like Brian and I will show you, and then copy and paste what it produces for you in there. I guarantee it, you'll get a better result. Oh, you know what we forgot, Brian? This is definitely a non-paid promotion.
It
I
is a
forgot to.
non-paid promotion.
This
Well,
is a
th
non-paid promotion. I want
it's
everybody to know we are not seeing a dime or a nickel or a penny from
yeah.
Flompt to do this episode.
Yeah, definitely. But it's all it's free and open source, so I'm sure they really don't care.
All
But
just saying. I don't want
yeah,
any accusations from a heckler or anything.
yeah, either way. So do we want to talk about who this is for first, or do we want to do our demo first? Kind of
Let's
how
do
we
the demo
actually
and do both.
let's do the demo. Okay. I will go ahead and share my screen here. Just give me 1 second. Okay, can you see my screen here?
I can see your screen
Okay.
and I see Claude first.
Very good. So, yeah, so as we said before, we fanboy Claude a little bit. I'm not ashamed of it, but I decided to start prompting Claude first right here. And for those of you who can't see, I told Claude to create a 15-day social media marketing campaign utilizing LinkedIn for the Layman's AI podcast. Have a calendar with pre-generated posts to copy paste. Provide links to YouTube and Podbean. Podbean is our distribution platform.
Yeah.
If you probably heard of them by now. But either way, I literally just typed that in here. And this is what Claude Sonnet came up with. I just used Sonnet because didn't really think this was a need for Opus. But either way, it actually doesn't do too bad of a job.
I,
It
I
gives
I thought it
us,
did a very good job actually with that prompt. The prompt was pretty specific as it did assign a role. It did do
yes.
some things. It has you guys can't see this for those of you that are listening. I think like we
Hmm.
said earlier, this is definitely a YouTube episode, but it is assigning things based off of categories and things
Hmm.
like that. And it does have the option to copy and paste and put it on for a 15-day LinkedIn
Yeah.
campaign.
So it does have 15 days in here. I'd probably use a Claude project to continue with a
Hmm.
ongoing campaign, but that's a whole nother thing right there. But either way, basically, here's a LinkedIn post right here. And you know what? We may actually use this as a LinkedIn campaign just for fun, just to actually do it. So,
Yeah,
but either way, it's pretty basic. You just copy the post right here. Day one, education. Every week, AI shapes your job, your news feed, et cetera, et cetera. Well, that's why Layman's AI exists to break down the AI topics in plain English, no PhD acquired. And it has a few links right here. It is forthcoming in saying that these links that it provides are placeholders. Um, so that's something you need to keep in mind right there. But it does have different like buttons right here you can click, and yeah, here's another one right here. It talks about day four. Day
hmm
five, behind the scenes, talks about what goes into making the podcast behind the scenes. Um, Spoiler, if you're looking at this, it's not quite. what it's saying right here.
There's
It's a
quite a
little
bit
bit
of
different.
assumptions on that one.
Yes, that we're more organized than we actually are.
That would be accurate. That is way too detailed for guys in our 40s with busy lifestyles.
Yes, yes, definitely. But no, it does a pretty good job. It does a pretty good job, I'd say. It kind of gives a little campaign breakdown and everything, and boom, you're right there. So, um, basically, so after that, I took this exact prompt right here and I dropped it into Flompt right here. And
So that's the upper left corner under the section that says decompose into blocks. So you
yes.
it says your raw prompt goes in the upper left corner.
hmm So yes, it goes up to here and I copy and paste it in right here and I decompose it into blocks like Adam just said. And it has a nice list of things right here
Yep.
that you can edit right here,
So those are the
which is very
boxes that
nice.
we referenced earlier. It's saying our prompt had an objective, a role, an audience, context, a goal, knew the language automatically, and then the output. It has the constraints in there. It has there's input as well, chain of thought, which is really
Yeah.
good. And then it has examples, which is really good because we didn't provide any examples, but there is an examples that it was able to put in based on the topic that we it knew we were wanting to speak about.
Yes, and I will also say these are all editable. Like you put
Yes,
in your raw prompt and it kind of gives you some ideas right here. But this is basically the blocks we were talking about. And it automatically selected a number of them, objective, role, audience, etc. But you can add blocks over here as well.
you certainly can.
Someone that we didn't quite get into use like response style. I don't think that's in there.
I don't think
You could
that's in there.
Yeah, you can put in a response style right there. Do they put in guardrails or constraints? Constraints they did. You
It
can
did
also
a
put some,
constraint.
yeah, but you can put some guardrails in there. Definitely see the goal right here. Environment. Now this is another one that you could put in here, and this would be good if you're doing like some kind of coding or anything. Like if you're using
Okay.
like a Python environment or whatever environment you really want to specify, which would be a good one right there. Tools. I don't think it put tools in there.
I don't think it
Tools and
I don't think it needed any on this one.
Yeah, tools are another one, but either way, you could take some of these blocks and add some more if you think it needs a few more right there. And
You can.
base Yes, and basically what I did over here, uh, for those watching, you can't see it right now, but I told it to decompose and everything.
Hmm.
And this is the prompt it gave me for Claude. And you can see it's a much different layout and everything
Extremely
like that.
different layout,
Yeah,
lots of
I'm gonna.
symbols. I don't know coding, so I
hmm
asked Brian, I go, I assume that's coding, and he said it's not really coding, it's more of a different layout, but it definitely looks a little gibberish,
hmm
but also the keywords are in there for the key sections.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, it's kind of coding. I may have misled you before.
that's all right.
Yeah, coding is all kinds of differences right here, but this is like kind of like an XML format that it's looking at right here.
And
You can see like the different kind of like symbols and formats and everything that
and
a machine would look for.
Brian, something I found interesting. Can you do this for those that are viewing this on YouTube right now? That's Claude's layout. Can you
hmm
click the tab that says ChatGPT because it's always funny to me how it's slightly different.
Yeah,
Now there's
yeah,
hashtags, there's the format is different, but I guarantee it's the same.
yeah.
But it's funny because the two tools want to read things in a different way.
hmm Definitely, yeah. And then there's Gemini. So it looks like Gemini and
Gemini and
ChatGPT are very
ChatGPT are
similar.
extremely similar
Yeah,
usually.
very similar, which is kind of an interesting one right there. But this is kind of its different sort of layout. And these are, I'm thinking these are more markdown
Okay.
file type things right here and everything. So I already decomposed it and everything. And since we were using Claude, asked it to use
Yep.
Claude and it gave me an XML format. Another thing that's interesting up here are these tokens.
Yes, don't get
Um,
confused by the tokens.
Yes, Adam and I actually thought we were being charged tokens before. As suddenly they started charging for you. No, they didn't. What they're doing right now, it's letting you know about how much in tokens it's going to use for each format. If you may or may not know, Claude limits your data usage and what have you,
Boy, does it.
and it does do that, and it gives you kind of an estimate as to how much usage it's going to be, and it does for GPT, Gemini, etc. And it lets you know exactly how much usage, or estimates, I should say. It's not going to give an exact, but that's how much usage this prompt is going to cost you. So if you really want to calculate these things, here you go. This looks it's pretty good informative right there. It also has a score right here, kind of gives you a score. I tried dealing with this before, but it doesn't seem to be working right now as of this
Oh,
recording,
interesting. Okay.
wh- which is unfortunate. But either way, this is the format right here, and I gotta say, I love this format. It really kind of breaks it down and helps a layman, like most of our audience right here, um, speak to a machine a lot easier.
Hmm.
And tools like this are going to be the next big thing, in my opinion. So, yeah, either way, we can also do a canvas view, which is uh,
It's pretty neat, but it's also confusing because it lays it out in like there you go, like a straight line.
yeah. Uh, I'm not sure how we would need that, but either way.
I think that's one of those if you're doing a project and you're adding a lot more, I
Hmm.
think you'll see a more a better put together flow chart. But time will tell. We
Yeah.
we got it. We got
Yeah.
to play with this thing more.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we may do Flompt projects in the future, but either way. So that's the format right there. So basically, after you decompress the prompt and everything, you just copy it right here to the clipboard,
Hmm.
like I did prior to recording, and we come over here with Claude. And here is the whatchamacallit, the prompt that was broken down by Flompt right here. And you can see the whole format right here. It does like kind of an XML format or what have you. And this is the whole Flompt right there. And I pasted it to the entrance, and you can see it's actually just a tad bit easier to read, in my opinion.
It is, but for me, the big takeaway was when we took a look at this, it is easier to read. It's broken down day by day. The
Hmm.
breakdown is a little simpler and than the previous one. And Claude did a fantastic job with both, but I thought this one was much more user friendly because you click the day, then
Yeah.
it takes you right to the takes you right to the prompt, or excuse me, the LinkedIn post that you just copy and
Hmm.
paste. It's got a copy option. It's got links to our
Yeah.
YouTube page. It's got links to our Podbean. It has hashtags. It has
Hmm.
everything. And it
Yeah.
even had something similar where it was like a day in the life of, and
Yeah.
the podcasters. And the only thing that was it. Here it is.
Yeah. Behind
Ever
the
wonder what
scenes.
goes into making a podcast episode? Spoiler: a lot of reading, a lot of debating, and a lot of coffee. That part's actually accurate. So,
The reading and the coffee,
the
we
reading
don't
and
do
the
a lot of
coffee.
debating. We do a lot of discussing, I
Yeah.
should say.
Yes. Much more discussion.
Yeah, more text discussions because we live in different states, but either way. Yeah, and it even gives the links right here. If you're watching, these aren't actually our links, which actually, if you look down here, it says swap in your actual YouTube and Podbean URLs currently using placeholders.
Hmm.
So this sort of breakdown in the tips is kind of what it added right here. I think it had somewhat of a breakdown over here. Yeah, a little bit of a breakdown, but it didn't really give the tips or anything like that. But it's a little more user friendly, I would say. Because you have you can go to your days right here and everything. And I mean the days right here are right there, but you gotta click on it and then copy it.
You're talking one click versus two clicks, but
Yeah, essentially.
I'm certain the job was better done with the Flompt.
Yeah. I do like how the font did it a little more user friendly and everything, and you got the copy post
Hmm.
button right there for you, and you are all ready to go. And here is our 15-day LinkedIn social media campaign
Yeah, we might
for
actually
the
use some
layman's
of these.
AI.
So, for those of you who do not know, we are on LinkedIn and we will
Hmm.
engage with you if you engage with us. So,
Yes.
please feel free to, give us a like. You don't even have to subscribe, just chat and we'll talk to you. And We
Hmm.
can go from there. But anyways, you may see some of these ones that developed us use these as an example on
Yeah.
LinkedIn.
Yeah, maybe. But I think our LinkedIn structure is a little bit different than how they have it laid out, so we might need to flaunt it a little bit more here.
Yeah,
But yeah, like kind of like give it a start date and an end date. I know
I
we do
would. Yeah,
I
that
know we do a Throwback Thursday. We might want to flump that in there a little bit, but either way, you can already see the difference right there for prompting versus flomping, and you can really break this down a lot more. This is one quick prompt right there, but if you really start to get into like projects and like different things, you can definitely see the benefits right there. So begs the question, who is this for, Adam? Who is this really for?
I think we've. I think we've hit the nail on the head on this one. This is for our us and our audience and people
Hmm.
that are not professional prompt engineers. Uh, you could be a professional. You could be a prompt enthusiast like we are. But
Hmm.
this is going to be the fastest way to learn how to put things in a language that the LLMs understand. And I think this is also for people who want to improve their own prompting skills because you're going to realize I've got these boxes over here. It would like looking at what Brian and I just looked at.
Hmm.
We now know we got to provide it more context, such as our
Yeah.
web pages, our social media pages. Probably should have
Hmm.
had those in there. Okay.
Yeah.
So I would go back to that Flompt, re-put those in the proper boxes and put that
Hmm.
information in there, redo the prompt, and
Hmm.
then go again. And
Yeah, definitely.
I think it just makes you think more critically with what you're putting in with your prompts.
Hmm. Yeah, definitely. Like you said, giving it a start date and an end date would be a nice one. Also, kind of talking about, what days do our episodes actually drop. I know on our
Hmm.
LinkedIn page, we like to put a Throwback Thursday um in there to where we kind of provide a link to a previous episode and what have you. But yeah, this could be really nice. We could also do um our X account or our Blue Sky account. Those are two other ones that we have right there.
Hmm.
Kind of like our social medias for more engagement and everything. And we can have them specifically put the post together for those platforms and asking for hashtags and everything that we think would be good to engage the audience and everything. I know there's a lot of debate over hashtags right now being kind of desperate grabs for attention, but this is how the algorithm works because the algorithm looks for hashtags.
We'll use them.
Yeah, definitely. You gotta play the game. But no, I think this is yeah, this is a great tool. I really like this tool, and I know I'm going to use this a lot more going
Yes.
forward. Personally, I'm going to have to dig into these projects as well just to kind of see what it can do fully because I use Claude projects for some passion projects I got going on right now, and kind of combining the two, this could be a game changer essentially.
I think it is a game changer, and I'm glad we're one of the first ones to kind of break the news that this is a big deal. We've already talked about it once,
Hmm.
and now here we are doing an entire episode on it, and there might be more to come with this bad
Yeah,
boy.
yeah,
So
definitely.
it's kind of an exciting time. So flompting. So you're not prompting anymore. We're flompting.
Yep, definitely. So, just to kind of wrap it up here a little bit, core idea, this is the gap between mediocre and exceptional AI outputs.
Hmm.
Um, Basically is kind of what we have here, and it's usually like if you prompt it correctly, you get a better outcome, and this kind of helps you get better outcomes right here.
Yes.
And it's a bridge, like we said. This is the bridge between you and the machine and everything. Um, Also, listener challenge. Go Flompt. Would like you want our audience to start flomping?
Yeah, I do. I want everybody to start flompting.
Yeah, definitely. I would love to see everybody's flomping and everything, and let us know. Let us know.
Seriously,
Comment.
reach
Interact
out
with
on
us.
LinkedIn. Even if our post that's on LinkedIn isn't about flomping, just say,
Hmm.
"Hey, I tried Flompt the other day. It worked or it didn't work." Let us know your experience. We really want to hear this because we think
Yeah,
this is a
definitely.
tool that the layman can use now and it's affordable. It's not gonna
Oh,
hurt.
hey, price is right, isn't it? You get
It
exactly what
certainly
you
is.
pay for.
You don't even need to log in.
Yeah,
Like,
your return on investment is going to be immediate. We'll just say that and everything.
it's
But
a good one.
yeah, either way, I think that about wraps it up for this evening here. I'd like to give everybody a big thank you for taking your time out of your day to listen to us. My name is Brian,
And I'm Adam.
and you have been listening to the Layman's AI, and we will see you next time.